Nowadays, street food has become trendy, and I believe many of you know and like street food. Street food is ready-to-eat food or drink sold at a street, sidewalk or other public place like market and fair by a hawker or vendor. It is usually sold from a portable food booth, food truck or food cart and often designed to be carried and eaten right away. Some street foods are regional or are only found in certain areas, while many have spread beyond their origins. Study by Food and Agriculture Organization in 2007, accounting for nearly 2.5 billion people, eat street food every day. In many countries around the world, the types of street food vary by location and culture.
Firstly, it is crucial that we know the type of street food such as desserts. As example, cendol, ais kacang, gulab jamun, which is a type of donut dunked in syrup, apam balik and putu bambu. After that, local delicacies in Malaysia such as kuih muih, for example, kuih Sri Muka, tang yuan, angku kuih, vadai, steamed banana packets, which is also known as lepat pisang in Malay. Then, foods such as pau, popiah, roti bakar or also known as toast may be sweet or savory, which depends on the feeling. Worth mentioning about savory street foods such as satay, lok ching, which is a fish satay, and etok salai, which is also known as barbecued marinated clams. Okay, next is fried foods, starting from Western influences such as corn dog, French fries, sausages, chicken fingers, nuggets, and pizza. Localized fried foods such as pisang goreng, or also known as banana fritters, keropok leko, samosa, and also battered fried foods such as mushrooms, sweet potatoes, jackfruit, and tempeh. Afterwards, foreign or fusion foods. These days, takoyaki, oden, sushi or kimbap, kimchi, tteokbokki, bingsu, cheesy Korean chicken, boba tea, and the usage of cheese in local foods are available at the street.
The advantages of street food are it is comparatively cheap. Street food business is rather cheap to start up. There is no need for expensive rents, utility bills, or running costs. This saving can be passed to the consumer by making the street food at an affordable price. Next, there is wide selection of street food. People can get wide selection of food in one place. For example, you can get takoyaki and corn dog at the same place, so it saves your time and money for transportation. Then, there are good quality food. The food is often made in front of the customer, so they can see how the food is handled and cooked. The owner are usually the one that cooks and serve the food. This shows that they are interested in providing a good serving and are more likely to care about the quality of their product and what they are serving their customers. Furthermore, new cuisine are always being introduced. With relatives ease with which a food truck or street food business can be established, new varieties of food are being introduced. To create new offerings, menu can be more simply altered or updated. There is food that you have never heard of, as well as intensive food fusion and updated classic for the modern palate. Moreover, it is mobile. Mobile food truck or street food store have the advantages of being able to set up shop almost anywhere there is demand for food. Other than that, it helps local economy. The majority of street food vendors and food trucks are owned and operated by locals. As a result, spending money on this business can help create jobs in the community and retain money in the local economy. Lastly, it is an easy business to get into. Starting and operating a food truck or street food business is much less expensive than opening and operating a traditional restaurant. It also has a low entrance barrier because it does not require much experience or certification.
While on the other hand, there are some issues regarding street food. Based on what we saw, the appearance of the food may look fine and tasty, but a careful consideration of food choices before buying and consuming are needed. This is because street food are often related to unhygienic environment. Since the food is sold on the roads, it can be exposed to street pollution, unhygienic handling, and the use of unsafe water that can increase the number of bacteria in the food. According to WHO, almost 1 in 10 people in the world, estimated about 600 million people, fall ill after eating contaminated food. Next is the food can be carcinogenic. The oil that has been used for frying deep fried food is often being used repeatedly, sometimes over a period of days. Foods that are fried in oil naturally have high saturated fat, and this cooking process can increase the trans fatty acid content of the food, which can clog the arteries and lead to cancer. Street food are not nutrient balanced. This is because mainly most of the available foods that are sold consist of snack foods that only contain calories with no other nutrient. It is mainly a high calories density food. A research found that street snacks are very calorie dense. It can cause health problems like obesity, cholesterol, and fatty liver in the longer run. People are also tend to overeat because it does not giving the feeling of fullness. The last disadvantage is street food contains high salt, sugar, and huge amount of preservative. Sellers always adding more sugars to increase the sweetness in beverages and food, as most people preferring the sweet taste rather than the bland. In order to increase shelf life and flavor in food, street food is often loaded with a high concentration of salt and preservative. This high consumption of these seasonings can lead to hypertension, increased risk of diabetes, and heart disease.
After learning about street food, there are certain changes that the seller, as the one who provide the street food, and we as the consumers can do to live a healthier lifestyle. Here are the recommendations. Firstly is from seller perspective. They can provide varieties of healthy foods for customer. For example, they can make any dishes using fruits and vegetables. Seller can try improvise on decoration and food presentation and make it unique to attract customer. Other than that, seller can also incorporate healthy food with current or trending food preparation. Some may argue that dishes containing healthy foods are frequently expensive and unaffordable. However, sellers don't need to worry because nowadays, with the power of viral that we can see through media social, everything can be commercialized. Next is from our perspective as consumer. To begin with, we must be self-disciplined, set rules for ourselves, which is eat street food occasionally, like once in a week or once in a month, and not every day. When choosing meals, go for food that use healthy cooking methods like grilling, steaming, or baking. We can also ask the seller to make the dish less sweet, which would help us cut down on our sugar intake. Finally, choose food that has been cooked in a sanitary setting to avoid foodborne sickness.
In conclusion, street food is becoming more widespread, where we can see people selling the street food everywhere, such as along the street around the bus stop area, by the school, or around your residential area. Due to it being available everywhere, street food has become the choice of the people to relieve their hunger. Plus, the price of the food is very reasonable for its taste, and there is a variety of food to choose from. Whether traditional food such as nasi lemak and kuih muih, Western food, and food from other countries such as sushi and takoyaki from Japan. However, we should not choose food only based on its taste and appearance, but we should also take note of the nutrient content of the food. Unfortunately, most street food contains high sugar, sodium, and calories that can lead to health problems if it is taken regularly. Despite the popularity of the street food, there are no adequate evaluation of food safety measures, which have resulted in health risks associated with street food. So, people should be a wise consumer on choosing the food, especially street food.